The Purge is a 2013 dystopian horror film directed by James DeMonico. It introduces a horrifying concept. For one night, each year, all crime, including murder, is legal. Set in the near future, aka the near past, because this was released in 2013, and 2022 is now 2 years ago, the film explores the impact of the annual event on a seemingly perfect suburban family. It stars Ethan Hawke, and The Purge delves into the dark side of human nature and the consequences of unchecked violence. So, spoilers ahead, and let's get into the video. The film is set in 2022, and the United States is governed by the new founding fathers of America, aka the NFFA, aka a bunch of twats. To maintain low crime rates and a thriving economy, the NFFA has instituted the annual Purge, a 12-hour period in which all crime is legal, including murder, and all emergency services are suspended. This event is designed to allow citizens to release their pent-up rage and declin society. It's a dumb idea, I know, but apparently it works since all crime is really low now. And the story focuses on the Sandin family, who live in an absolute gated community, and James Sandin, who's played by Ethan Hawke, is a successful salesman for a high-tech company that sells security systems to protect homes during the Purge. His wife Mary is a devoted mother, and together they have 2 children, Zoe, a rebellious teenager, and Charlie, who's played by the kid who plays the young main character in the TED show. Which I noticed on my rewatch of this film yesterday because I've been binging that show again. Oh, so good. But yeah, the family appears to be living the American dream, benefiting from the wealth generated by Jane's security business, which has boomed thanks to the Purge. However, tensions within the family simmer beneath the surface, especially as the annual Purge looms. As Purge night begins, the family begins locking down, and they have a huge state-of-the-art security system that Jane's company provides. The family gathers in the home theatre, watching news coverage and the event, and trying to maintain a sense of normalcy. However, that ain't gonna last for long. The atmosphere is really tense. Zoe is sulking over a recent argument with her boyfriend Henry because her dad despises him because he's 18 and she's like 16, 17, which is like, yeah, shouldn't be doing that, you nonce. And Charlie is questioning the morality of the Purge. And as the night progresses, Charlie sees a wounded man, played by Edwin Hodge. He's outside their home, he's screaming for help. He's moved by compassion, and Charlie decides to disarm the security system and let the man inside. Much to the horror of the parents, the man only known as Bloody Stranger pleads for refuge, but his arrival quickly escalates their situation. Moments later, a group of masked and heavily armed purgers arrives at the Sandins' home. The leader, a polite and well-spoken young man, informs the Sandins that the Bloody Stranger is their target. He is described as a pig that deserves to be killed because he killed one of their own, which is just disgusting. They demand that they surrender him, warning that if they do not comply, they will breach the house and kill everyone inside. They have about an hour, I believe, until their supplies arrive to open the house, and then it's purging time. So they're faced with this terrifying ultimatum. The Sandin family is plunged into a moral and physical crisis. James is initially just insisting that they have to just protect themselves and their children by giving up the stranger. However, as the family debates what to do, they are forced to confront their own values and the true nature of the Purge. Zoe just cares about her boyfriend who's been killed by James because he tried to kill James because he wouldn't let him nonce on his daughter. And Charlie is just really opposed to letting him go back outside because he actually has a soul. Meanwhile, Mary is just torn between her entire family falling apart, and she also wants to do what's right. And as the family argues, the stranger disappears. And time is quickly running out, and the masked strangers disable the Sandin security system and they break into the house. What follows is a brutal and tense game of cat and mouse as the family fights for survival, and the Purgers, armed with knives, guns, machetes, and a sadistic sense of glee, hunt the Sandins through their own home. James takes up arms. He uses his knowledge of the security system to try and outmaneuver the intruders. The family just instantly splits up, and in a series of intense confrontations, they manage to kill several of the Purgers. James in particular goes on a bloody Terminator kill streak and kills like 10 of them on his own. And despite their efforts, James is ultimately wounded in the battle by the polite leader. He isn't very polite, and he kisses him on the forehead before he dies. However, just as they are about to be killed, the Sanders neighbours, led by Grace, arrive and kill the remaining Purges. The family initially believes that they've been saved, but it quickly becomes apparent that the neighbours have their own sinister agenda. They're resentful of the Sanders' wealth and success. The neighbours reveal that they've intended to kill them as a part of their own twisted Purge ritual. So usually they have like a Purge party and they're all invited, but the Sanders decided to sit this one out, because they were also told that that isn't even going to happen, but it still happens. In a final twist, the Bloody Stranger reappears and saves the family by overpowering the neighbours, and despite having the chance to kill them, Mary shows mercy. She has them all sit at the dinner table and says that they're going to spend the rest of the night in mother effing peace, which is one of my favourite lines in the movie.
Oh, they were going to kill us. It doesn't matter. We are going to play the rest of this night out in motherfucking peace.
Like, just the fact that she has just seen her husband die and she still has mercy for these people is great. And yeah, Grayson tries to make a last-ditch effort with a gun, but she seizes the opportunity and she fails miserably because Mary grabs her head, bashes her into the table, breaks her nose, and then she begins bleeding. And then the Purge sirens begin. It signals the end of the Purge, the end of the torment, and the end of, well, their life without therapy, probably. The final scene shows the Bloody Stranger walking away, leaving the Sanders to reflect on what has just happened, and also how it is literally just exposed that anyone can die during the Purge, even the wealthy. And yeah, The Purge is a tense and provocative thriller. It uses its high concept premise to explore the thin, line between, civilization and the brutality that could possibly lie within anyone. As they say, people need to release the beast sometimes. Maybe you don't murder people, maybe you just do what, people do on TikTok, where they go into the woods and they just bash, sticks. No, don't do it. Just get, boxing gloves and just, get a punching bag or something. I mean, the film's pacing is a bit slow at points, but it is able to build some tension as the Sanders situation becomes increasingly desperate. Ethan Hawke delivers a great performance as Jane Sadden, a man who has profited from the Purge but is now forced to face its brutal reality. Hawke's portrayal really captures the inner conflict of a father trying to protect his family while grappling with the moral implications of his own actions. And Lena Headey is really good as Mary. She is probably one of my favourite parts of the film. Just the fact that she is able, right at the end, to deliver one final blow to that piece of crap neighbour just made me so happy. And yeah, I also thought the Bloody Stranger, as he's referred to this, but his actual name is Dante Bishop, was one of my favourite characters in this film. And I did enjoy the kids in this film as well. They're actually pretty good actors. I think Max Burkholder, I believe is his name, who plays his son. He did a pretty good job. I liked the little robot thing that he had. It reminded me of that thing from Toy Story, Sid's thing. And yeah, they all the supporting cast did a great job. I think the film's most striking element is its social commentary, which the later films would get a bit mixed up in, they focus more on the carnage and just the mayhem rather than the social commentary. But in this first one, this definitely serves as a metaphor for inequality, class division, and just the dangers of just having everything go to violence, which, yeah, you probably shouldn't have a night where anyone can just do whatever they want, because you will see the worst in people. I mean, I think we're not, thinking of the obvious scenario that could happen here. Imagine there's someone you don't like at your work or something. You gotta kill them on Purge night, then you fail. Then the Purge sirens happen, and you have to go to work with them the next morning. Imagine how awkward that would be. But yeah, I think another good part in this film is the fact that the wealthy people in the film, the Sanders, are able to fortify themselves against the chaos, while the poor and vulnerable people are left to fend for themselves. Then they become the targets of the privileged people in this film, and then when the poorer characters ultimately come across the more privileged people in the film, the privileged people have to help him survive, which I thought was really nice. They're able to come to a stand. So I would have preferred maybe, Mary just says stay here with us. I thought that would have gone well, but I do like where they take Dante's character in the later sequels of this movie, because I think that he just becomes a great leader. And yeah, I'm not going to spoil anything that happens later, but he does become a pseudo-leader for some people, and I will get to those in my later videos for the Purge movies. And yeah, while this definitely is undeniably like cool, it also leaves you just wanting a bit more depth. Like, the film touches on some good ideas, but sometimes it opts for some straightforward horror and action over some like actual like inquiries and like philosophical stuff. However, it definitely succeeds in creating the tense atmosphere. Like, it's got some really good performances and it makes it a really good watch. Ultimately, this movie is a really thought-provoking thriller. It's able to perfectly blend like home invasion horror with dystopian social commentary. It definitely may not be as like deeply engaging as a lot of like other films, but I do think it's really cool. I give it like a 7 out of 10. Ultimately, this stands as a memorable entry in the horror genre, and it lays the groundwork for the franchise that will continue its political commentary and absolute carnage. But what do you guys think about The Purge? Let me know in the comments below, and subscribe to the channel and like the video if you enjoyed the video.